St. Lucia. There's simply no place in the world that can and will take your breath away like the sight of St. Lucia. There are islands, and then there are islands. St. Lucia is an island nation situated just below the Virgin Islands, but above St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Here, you'll find everything an exotic getaway has to offer. Plus, you'll get lost in a culture and paradise that you didn't even realize was a part of our world. The volcanic mountainous island is home to about 180,000 residents, over an area of about 238 square miles. Tourism is the biggest draw to the island, mainly because of its abundance of natural resources and friendly inhabitants.
Very lush and green. You have some nice mountainous areas. You have some wonderful beaches, wonderful, excellent diving. The people are very, very, very friendly. I mean, there's sometimes, actually, if you go into the towns, they'll make you feel like you're part of the family.
Welcome to St. Lucia, an island nation where hospitality is more than just a word, it's a way of life, and the natural beauty of the island is made up of mountainous regions, tropical rainforests, and volcanic sandy beaches.
St. Lucia has a relatively short history. It's a tale of war, slavery, and finally peace.
It's an exciting mix of course, fact, but there's also a little legend in there, and even revisionist history, because we were told that after about 500 years of a certain piece of information, that was not exactly true. It was even in our textbooks and then got overturned. So it's just very exciting, very colorful. Short history, but very colorful.
St. Lucia was turned over 14 times. It's the most fought-over country in the entire world, and at one point, Great Britain even offered up all of Canada to the French just for the island.
But they fought over St. Lucia from 1651 to 1814. I mean, just outlandish. I understood there was probably no TV at the time, no Game of Thrones reruns, no HBO, and they're like, what you doing today? Nothing. Let's bomb the French. Cool.
St. Lucia was a desired location, not only for the slave trade, but also because of its fertile land and naturally deep harbors.
At that time, again, without the artificial constructs, you needed a harbor where you can just come right in, and then you're safe. And then you can see the other ships, the battleships coming in, so you can defend yourself. So you could just come right in. Even today, we have Marigot Bay. It's the safest harbor in the Caribbean. When there's hurricanes, every boat heads for Marigot Bay in St. Lucia.
Both influences of the French and British are still found on the island today. Also, there's surprisingly an Indian influence as well.
They also went to India. After slavery was abolished in St. Lucia in August the 1st, 1848, they went to India and they had them sign a contract which is known as indentured labor, where basically you still work as a slave, but you sign the contract anyways.
Independence was finally claimed in 1979. In many parts of the Caribbean, you can still find hostility between the races, but that is not something you will find in St. Lucia. Here, the people are not only kind, but also curious and welcoming to all that travel from afar.
Well, the warmth of the people in St. Lucia, they create the atmosphere for all clients who come into the island. They basically make you feel so comfortable that you feel like you're actually part of home. That's why, again, the repeat factor is so high, because a lot of people come back.
Coming up, Jade Mountain rated the #1 resort in the Caribbean by both Travel and Leisure magazine and Condé Nast Traveler. And we have an inside look at the luxurious accommodations and out-of-this-world view enjoyed by any lucky enough to book a sanctuary. There's a full episode of laughter, adventure, and luxury coming straight your way. Don't go anywhere. You're in St. Lucia, an island nation so desired, at one time Great Britain offered up all of Canada to the French for the Caribbean oasis. Jade Mountain sits atop 600 acres of the western side of the island, with views of the island's pitons so stunning, I guarantee more than half of your pictures that you take will include the Green Mountains. Jade Mountain has been called an architectural wonder, and as cliche as it may sound, there really isn't any question as to why. Opening in early 2007, Jade Mountain has wowed its would-be guests with remarkable and unusual accommodations, unlike anything else you'll find in the Caribbean.
It's interesting, he's never been honest about what inspired him. There's been so many different versions. My favorite one was one where he was joking around and said he licked a poisonous frog and hallucinated the whole thing.
I think psychedelic is a great way to describe the property, but the real treasure can be found inside of the rooms, otherwise known as sanctuaries, available to its honored visitors.
This unique feeling of capturing attention to detail in all the tiny aspects, but also has such a great big picture overview that creates the unique atmosphere that it has.
The sanctuaries are defined by out-of-this-world categories, starting with the sky, then star, moon, sun, and finally galaxy. These sanctuaries are sure to take you to a galaxy far, far away. Just to give you an idea, let's peek into the Sun Sanctuary.
Open fourth wall is really the defining feature. There's no barriers between you and the view.
The Sun Sanctuary is an 1,800 square foot retreat, completely open, removing that fourth wall and revealing 270-degree panoramic views of the pitons, complete with a 900 square foot infinity pool and luxurious furnishings at your fingertips.
I always say to them, you know, you're allowed one scream, but that's it. And all of them scream because they're so amazed by the fantastic view of the pitons, which you do not have anywhere else on the island in terms of the angle of the shot.
While the warmth of the Sun Sanctuary will surely keep you in your room more often than not, the Galaxy Sanctuary is going to blast you into another universe of comfort. The Galaxy Sanctuary is the most desired accommodation in all of St. Lucia. There are no views that can match the outlook that you'll have of both the bay and the pitons. With luxury so unmatched, I really don't know where to begin. 2,000 square feet of Jade Mountain is yours day after day, and while the unmatched views are open, privacy is all yours. The cost, well, as the saying goes, if you have to ask, you probably can't afford it.
So often you see Caribbean hotels that don't capture where they are. You could be in a New Jersey airport hotel, you wouldn't even realize it. And here at Jade Mountain, where you have no choice but to acknowledge you're in St. Lucia every second of every day.
Jade Mountain also plays host to 2 extravagant beaches with cabanas and hammocks galore. A playground of sorts for anyone looking to soak up the sun and explore the waters around Jade Mountain. The snorkeling is unmatched, with a marine sanctuary just a few hundred feet away from the shores.
Because we've had that protection for such a long period of time, we have escaped the problems that many other islands suffer from, overfishing or coral bleaching, lionfish coming. People recognize from an early stage what a big boost for tourism the reefs are.
St. Lucia and Jade Mountain recognize the need to protect their waters early on, and the locals realize how much money marine tourism brings to the island. Therefore, marine conservation is practiced daily, giving anyone wanting to take a dip in the warm, turquoise waters a chance to see an abundance of marine life.
It became a source of national pride that we have better reefs than anybody else.
But to have your world rock, a dive trip is an absolute must. Okay, this is my favorite part, where we are going to go diving in St. Lucia. It's supposed to be some of the most incredible diving in the entire world. Why? Well, they have a marine protected area, and people are pretty environmentally conscious here. St. Lucia isn't exactly known for its quote-unquote large marine animals like manta rays or whale sharks. but it is known for the smaller creatures like lobsters, tropical fish, and colorful corals, and that's exactly what you'll find at Fairyland. You can see the vibrant colors and healthy reefs unlike any other place in the world, and it's so exciting. The diving in St. Lucia is almost indescribable, so it's a good thing I brought my GoPros along for the ride. As a NAUI dive master and former Miss Scuba International 2014, I have had the luxury of diving all over the world, but I can say without hesitation that diving in St. Lucia is some of the best. You won't want to miss what we have next. St. Lucia is known for its coca plants, and you're going to see how chocolate goes from bean to bar. Welcome back to St. Lucia, an island nation just north of Venezuela, where the warm salt air will surround your senses and the noises of the jungle will transport your mind, body, and soul deep into the heart of the Caribbean. There's this place in St. Lucia, a small town by the sea known as Soufrière or Soufrière, depending on your dialect. Well, the town sits at the bottom of Soufrière, a volcano that built the island of St. Lucia and continues to spew the smell of sulfur and mineral-rich waters that feed the land.
While vacationing in St. Lucia, you will undoubtedly have quite a bit of Creole food. And if that's the case, then take a visit here to Soufrière, volcano meaning sulfur in the air. It's the only place you can break wind, and there'll be no judgment.
So what is bubbling in the middle here? This is water, not lava. Okay, this water is black because of a chemical reaction of minerals. It is iron and sulfur, formulating iron sulfide, FeS. It has also been tested and proven to have therapeutic values where it is good for the skin. So with any skin problem, a series of these baths could help you. But not in the middle there, because the temperature is about 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 Celsius, which is at boiling point. But the water flows down further where we have bathing areas. One can sit in to enjoy a nice warm sulfur bath.
One of the perks of coming to see and inevitably smell the volcano is that you can enjoy one of the most natural and sought-out experiences on the island. You can actually bathe in the volcanic waters and treat your skin to the mud, rumored to keep the islanders young forever. So maybe you try it out for yourself in hopes of fighting off the wrinkles that the island sun will eventually cause. You cannot ignore the lush jungle around you. The springs from Soufrière feed the environment and produce the greenest and most lush surroundings that you'll ever find in Mother Nature. It's part of what makes St. Lucia, St. Lucia. And while you might not realize it, St. Lucia is one of the world's leader in chocolate tourism. Pawan is a horticulturist working for one of the most sought-out and exclusive properties in St. Lucia, Emerald Farm. Here is where the magic of chocolate making begins. Pawan explains that there are 3 types of coca plants that are used to produce chocolate.
One is called Forastero. That's the wild kind. It gets to our American football size and shape. The other one is the premium chocolate, which is called Criollo. The Swiss chocolate and all is made out of that variety called Criollo. And the third one, which is what we have, about 80% of our crop is the cross between Criollo and Forastero. It is called Trinitario. Yeah, this started off like this.
Oh, wow. So these trees truly are intelligent because they've enslaved the human race because we all love chocolate.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's how they ensure their survival.
The farm also produces everything from pineapples to lemongrass to cinnamon and chilies, as well as fresh lettuce, coffee beans, and a variety of herbs. This was one of my favorite parts of our journey, seeing where everything grows, meeting the people who work day and night to ensure that the fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices are tasty and fresh for your next meal. But seeing is only one part of the journey. To really appreciate it, how about a sweet taste of chocolate made fresh daily right on location at Jade Mountain? You'll take part in a one-of-a-kind chocolate tour and making experience, something unique to St. Lucia and to Jade Mountain.
We've been to Emerald Farms and we've seen how the coca trees grow. We've also heard about how they harvest the cacao beans, and now we get to see how they take all of that and turn it into delicious chocolates that you can enjoy and take home with you from Jade Mountain.
Making chocolate has 6 main steps. 1. Grow the beans. 2. Harvest the beans. 3. Dry the beans. 4. Grind the beans. 5. Mix the beans. And 6. Make delicious chocolate.
So tempering is basically cooling down on the movement, okay? This tool is just to clean, okay? All right, that one I use it to move it around. Okay? What you're actually doing, you're breaking down the bigger crystals, allowing the small crystals to surface to get your nice snap and shine in your bar. Okay. All right, you ready?
It's not a race, Peter. Are you guys hiring? I think I'm doing a pretty good job.
The center, and the side. All right, this is how we wrap it. All right.
Here it is.
That edge, yeah.
Pull the edge in. Then the corner is kind of like a paper airplane.
Yes.
At least I learned something in grade school. It's useful. It expires in August 2016, but we don't have to worry about that because it's now my chocolate bar. That's so good. And it's fresh too.
Yep.
It doesn't get fresher than this, or more delicious for that matter.
St. Lucia is an island nation with an incredible history, and coming up we'll take you on a living adventure through a historical plantation, and you'll discover the secret to the best burger you've ever had. You're in St. Lucia and you found yourself at the #1 resort in the Caribbean, Jade Mountain. Here, the architectural wonders won't solely amaze your senses, but you'll also be surrounded by unmatched views, luxurious beach accommodations, and history. Away from the main resort area, a 5-minute boat ride will take you to Ons Mamen Beach. Here is where you can get away on your getaway. but also take a moment to become one with nature and discover history of the island nation. Minnow is known in St. Lucia as Father Nature, and his knowledge of the old plantation land will teach you both history and how to live off the island.
All the way up to Bouton, up now that was the first free village for the slaves. They run to Bouton. So that's where my grandma from, Bouton, that's where my mom from. And then those people was mostly from West Africa. So that's where my grandma learned all about the herbs.
A descendant of slaves, his grandmother taught him about the plantation grounds, and to this day, he is willing to take all who will listen on an exploration through the jungle and through time.
This is a soursop. S-O-U-R-S-O-P. We make soursop juice, soursop ice cream, soursop cheesecake, soursop sorbet. But my grandma tell me, you see that fruit? This is the best for cancer. Skin cancer, breast cancer, kidney cancer, the soursop. Tell me if you have problem to fall asleep at night. You have problem to sleep at night, you make a tea with that leaf.
Make a tea with this?
Yeah. But before you make the tea, the center vein of the leaf, you have to take it off.
Okay.
You break the leaf. And there, you put on the center vein. Everything off. Okay. So you make a tea with that.
The most incredible part of our walk was learning how to open a coconut to preserve both the meat and the water. You know, in case you ever find yourself on a deserted island and need to figure out how to open it by hand.
If you put it down,
okay,
you throw a rock on it, you might smash it open.
Yeah.
You'll get the food but not the water. But I will show you how to get the water. Come with you.
Okay. Freshest coconut I've ever had.
But never get it fresher than that. Look it up.
After your walk through the plantation grounds, you'll be privileged to learn more about the history of St. Lucia.
We're actually standing just outside of the ruins of Ons Maman. Now that was a sugar plantation in operation for about 100 years from the 1700s to the 1800s. The people of St. Lucia are generally descendants of slaves, and they've decided to keep the plantation here so that visitors can learn generation after generation the true history of the island and what happened here in the past.
Slavery was a common practice on the island from the early 1700s to 1838.
Well, the first owner used to be sugarcane. His name is Mamen. That's why they named the plantation as Ons Mamen. Ons Bay Mamen, first owner. So Mamen started with 60 slaves, 10 commanders in the 1700s, but mostly from West Africa, West African slaves.
The island was first used for sugarcane and then later developed for harvesting fruits, vegetables, and of course, chocolate.
You grow the sugarcane. After they cut it, then they grind it in the machine there. After they grind, they squeeze the cane juice in the boiler. Then they boil it to get the molasses. Then after that, they refine the molasses to get the brown sugar and rum from the molasses.
After slavery ended in 1838, many of the inhabitants began to intermingle, which explains much of the diversity on the island to this day.
All signs show that the races did not stay away from each other, you know? So they intermingle, and after over 100 years of intermingling, I mean, when you look at St. Lucians, we are a really nice mix of African, Indian, and Caucasian as well.
Stainless steel boilers are still at the plantation today, but 2 have been moved for cooking. And you can enjoy a fresh, handcrafted burger from the grill over one of those old boilers. And I guarantee it will be one of the very best burgers you'll ever have in your life.
All right, let's see if it meets its expectation.
Oh man, that's really good.
An island adventure can't be considered complete without a little surprise. And not far off of the shore of Ons Mamen, you'll make friends you didn't even know you wanted. Pods of dolphins are frequent off of this Caribbean oasis. Dolphins are naturally playful and curious creatures. Seeing them will brighten any day. Plus, they're a sign of good luck and good fortune. I don't know what can top off dolphins on a sunset sail, so on a high note, I'll have to say au revoir from this tropical paradise.
Thank you for joining us on this volcanic island nation of St. Lucia, where we've done everything from scuba dive to explore a volcano to make our own chocolate. Unfortunately, though, I have to say goodbye. I'm your host, Tabitha Lipkin, and I will see you on the next private island.
Of course, right as the dinghy comes over.
Basically, the structure, take back.
And the natural greenery of the island is just simply not comparable. We've seen where the cocoa beans... 3, 2, 1.
Actually, I forgot my name tag at home, and so he gave me. So you can put on the bloopers.
That is going to the bloopers.
So I could just continue from.